just making my way onto the train station. Well, I should have gone literally like a few minutes ago, but we're just kind of procrastinating here. So I'm gonna go on the train and then I'll be on my way to York.
So here I'm just sipping my coffee. I was a little bit embarrassed just to actually show my face in the coffee shop whilst filming. But then, as you can probably see, I'm walking through as you just come into York. It's surrounded by this really historical, very, very old city wall, which was built centuries ago. And as you walk in, you have the memorial. You also have the river on the right-hand side. Lots of very cool buildings. You have a mixture of architecture, quite Gothic, all the way to almost Victorian and even Georgian style buildings. So a lot of history here. And as you just keep walking, you will notice that you come across the cathedral, or what's called York Minster. I don't actually show it in this clip, but essentially it's the biggest cathedral in the whole of Northern Europe, and that was built in the 15th century. So it's a very historical city. And yeah, I just thought I would, kind of take you guys along with me. As you can see here, I'm looking at Goldfield and Banks, Anika Goutal, lots of lovely Goldfield and Banks fragrances here, including Purple Suede, which was a big fan favourite of mine. And you also have a really large collection of BDK, so that's everything from, obviously your Passes Soir, your Gris Chanel, Rouge Smoking. Wood Jasmine actually was beautiful. I mean, I've had, I've tried it before and I thought it was really, really lovely. And you can still see, just looking through, Chopard, of course, some really lovely fragrances there. Even some more picks, as you can see. So lots of choices from Fenwick. Also had a really large selection of Ormond Jane, which was a really nice surprise. As you guys know, Ormond Jane is probably one of my most favourite brands. And here we have your more popular kind of niche fragrances. So your Initio, your Matière Première, as well as your Fragrance de Bois. Lots of different choices to choose from here. You're a little bit spoiled for choice, which for a department store was very, very surprising. I was very pleasantly pleased with all of the choices here, and you can still see having a little bit of a wonder. I briefly looked at Creed in another store, but honestly, none of them really caught my fancy. I smelt a couple of them, but yeah, I'm not the hugest fan of Creed, but I thought they had like a really nice offering.
Welcome back. I just thought I would do like a follow-up video just based on the vlog that I did yesterday. So this is technically the next day, and I just thought I would jump on here because I felt as though, I mean, I was definitely very awkward yesterday, like I won't lie to you guys. Even just filming in person, it felt really alien to me. It felt like as though people would look at me and think, oh my gosh, who is this self-absorbed woman? Why is she doing this? So it's going to take me a long time to kind of get used to this whole vlogging type of style. It's something that I'm still kind of getting used to, so just bear with me, guys. But as I said, I just thought I would come back on here, just show you like a bit of a mini haul of stuff that I got, and also just a bit of an explanation of the day. So just to start off with, the first store that I went to was called Fenwick, and as you guys know, there are quite a few different department stores in the UK. I don't know what the like US equivalent of it would be, because Fenwick is quite unusual in the sense that yes, it is technically a department store, but it has a lot of niche offerings as well. For like a normal department store is very rare. Typically you would have, you know, your basic designer kind of range, nothing too unique or nothing too crazy, whereas this store had Ormond Jane, BDK Parfums, Maison Cyr, House of Oud, what else, Fragrance de Bois, all of these leading brands, more so in the niche kind of side. And I was just really shocked. I was like, wow, this is actually a really cool store. Wait, I'm sorry if the lighting keeps going in and out. This is working with natural light. I'm in a completely different space. I'm just staying at my partner's mum's place at the minute for the weekend, so I just thought I would kind of get this video out, so let me just stop rambling. But anyway, Fenwick was really lovely. The team there was super duper helpful. There was a gentleman, I should say, who worked there, very knowledgeable on fragrances. Honestly, but like when we were speaking with each other, my jaw was to the floor, and I really hope that I didn't like freak him out in any type of way or made him feel uncomfortable. But I was genuinely so intrigued by his story and his journey into fragrances. I won't say his name and I won't kind of go into it because he is a bit of a private person, but he was incredibly friendly, very helpful, knows the brands inside and out, brought a lot of these brands into the UK, so kudos to him. You know, without him doing that, a lot of these wouldn't even be available to us, so I have to give him credit for that. And yeah, it was just absolutely lovely. So the first fragrance that I got was one from the house of Chopard, and this house, I actually don't have any fragrances from Chopard as of yet, but this one really took my breath away. So this is called Iris Malika, and you know, it is a little bit more generic smelling. You know, it's not incredibly unique, and neither is it you know, kind of niche in any way. But what I really liked about it, it's crowd pleasing, but all in the right ways. It has this richness, this sweetness, this indulgence, which I think a lot of people would gravitate towards. This is how the bottle looks like. It's quite pretty. You know, it's just a standard bottle. I don't really know what to say. But it's in this lovely purple kind of colour, and as you guys know, iris, the flower iris, tends to be like a nice purple lilac-y kind of colour. So, oh wow, let's just give it a bit of a sniff. Straight off the bat, you get this really rich berry top note, and the berries that I'm getting in here is like a blackberry mixed with like a black currant, like something quite rich and dark, not a raspberry or anything like this. As you go down, you definitely get this really big note of a very deep lipstick iris, and it's not like Oris where it's buttery and, you know, it's a little bit on the powdery side. This is truly more iris based, where it goes into that lipstick kind of facet. That's what makes it really a very beautiful fragrance. The iris is definitely the standout note in this fragrance. You also have supporting notes of jasmine, which makes it very sexy, a little bit more on the floral side, and then ends with this really lovely, like, woody, ambery type of accord. I don't know whether you actually have amber in this, but I kind of get like a bit of a labdanum rich balsamic kind of quality towards the end. I mean, as a whole, it's a really beautiful fragrance. As I said, it's a little bit more crowd pleasing, so if you do want to have an alternative, something still very seductive, deep, date night wearable fragrance, then this is one for you. So that's Iris Malika from Chopard. The next pit stop that I went to was, of course, Penhaligons, and as you guys know, Penhaligons is quite a notorious English house, British house I should say, and genuinely, I mean, I love a lot of their fragrances. Some tend to kind of smell quite similar to each other. I think they all share very similar notes like Cypriol, violet, iris, etc., but all in very different ways. You know, I was really pleasantly surprised. I mean, the gentleman who worked there, again, was incredibly knowledgeable. I think we both got on very well because we realized, I know that you know your stuff about fragrances, and you know your stuff about fragrances. So just in general, I mean, he was incredibly helpful. As I said, very knowledgeable. We kind of went through each of the fragrances together. There was a few that I really wanted to try, but unfortunately they weren't there. So to me, it was a toss-up between Babylon, the new Solaris, which is like this beautiful orange blossom, tiare flower, vacation type fragrance, and between Cairo. And the bottle is very beautiful. Cairo obviously stems from it having like a bit of an Egyptian background to it. I think, I mean, I'm just assuming here, but probably with the house being British, might have stemmed from, you know, the British Empire, with, you know, English tourists going to more exotic, quote-unquote exotic destinations like Egypt. If you had a tan, for example, I think that's when the differences between the classes really showed, whether you came back tan, whether you were still pale, etc, etc. Anyway, I feel like I'm going on a bit of a tangent here, but Cairo was actually formulated by Christopher Reynard, and if you know that particular perfumer, he is a very, very talented, but he blends them to a ridiculously beautiful level. So Cairo first opens up with a very sharp saffron note, and as the gentleman said in the store, saffron can go one of two ways, right? It can either be very sweet, delicate, with a bit of spice, or it can go to being quite overwhelming, over the top. It sometimes can ruin a fragrance, right? This has a really beautiful balance between the two. Also has an opening note of rose, like a deep Damascus rich red rose. Very, very beautiful. I really enjoy about this fragrance, it doesn't have oud listed, but we both agreed that it has like this oud accord, and that's probably coming from the Cypriol, the Labdanum, and it gives the oud, well, somewhat of an oud vibe without being too animalic or too overpowering. I find sometimes with real oud, it can go one of those two types of ways, or it can be really soft. This one definitely has a bit of a soft edge to it, almost getting like the sandalwoody powderiness from it. Overall, a very sexy fragrance, quite powerful, so please be easy on the trigger with this one. You don't really want to be blowing anybody's socks away with it, but overall it's a really fantastic fragrance, and I'm very, very happy to have bought it. Finally, I have like another deep, rich, ambery, oudy type of fragrance in my collection. So yeah, that's it guys. I just thought I would show you a little mini haul of stuff that I got. As I said, I really, really hope that you enjoyed the vlog. I know I'm very awkward in it, and I know that it's not the best quality in the world, but listen, I tried my best. A lot of you will be the exact same as me. I found it mega awkward, so just keep that in mind. If you guys have any video suggestions, please comment them down below. I'd be really intrigued, and I'll see you later. Bye guys.